Hey, this is Rick Koenig with your friends over at Knit6 again. Thought I'd do a quick video today about how I was able to pass the AWS Cloud Practitioner Exam recently in just about 5 days. So very quickly, very good kind of foundational exam that you can knock out pretty quickly. Before we get started, if you aren't already, please click like and subscribe to the Knit6 channel. And if you have already subscribed, please like this video. So like pretty much everybody across the planet these days, we've had a lot more time on our hands as we've been quarantined in our houses and whatnot. And so one of the things that I decided to do, like being the kind of the nerd that I am, is that I decided what better to kill some of that time than by passing a certification and by making myself better in that way. And so I chose the AWS Cloud Practitioner Exam because I had done some stuff with AWS in the past and kind of had started the solution architect path and never really, didn't pass any certifications and stuff. And so I felt like that was one that I could knock out kind of fairly quickly. Like I said, the Cloud Practitioner Exam is that base level. It's kind of that starting point that a lot of people do use. I will say that from a focus standpoint, one thing you have to keep in mind is that it's geared more towards, I'd say, kind of sales professionals or kind of, management or IT professionals that may not be doing, kind of cloud services every day. They just want to know more about AWS. It's not something like the solution architect or some of the higher level that get down into the technical weeds. I had a lot of questions that were focused around like, cost and billing and things like that and concepts, as opposed to how you set up CloudFront or, the more technical questions. And so this is what I kind of use to prepare. This is the kind of the Cloud Practitioner certification page that's on AWS's website. And this was great because the exam pretty much follows the guide. So the guide was very good from a domain and content standpoint. There is, I had about 65-ish plus or minus questions. You have 90 minutes and the exam is $100. So it's not a long exam, being a foundational exam. And so here's the blueprint kind of for it. And you can see that things pretty much break down into these 4 different domains: cloud concepts, security and compliance, technology, and then billing and pricing. And I will say I noticed a lot more questions seemingly on the billing and pricing and support plan kind of questions. So the other thing that I did was, and this is probably the biggest key, is if you go and prepare for the exam, there's a bunch of white papers that you're going to want to read that are here. And so because there's billing and pricing and support questions, you're going to want to read these 4 white papers. And I think the longest one is this architecting one. I want to say it's about 40 or 50 pages. But definitely how the AWS pricing works and the support plan. And so it goes over, we had a lot of questions about, that's important. A concept of AWS Cloud is the shared support model, right? And what customers are responsible for versus what AWS is responsible for. So lots of stuff on that. And then also the overview of the web services, things like, if you want to set up a global CDN network that was presenting data to people out in, their local geography, right? What AWS service would you use? Those kinds of things. So I can't stress enough how important it is to kind of read these white papers. And I would actually read in a little bit more detail the ones about pricing as well as the kind of the support plans. And then the architecting one, because it gets down into the weeds a little bit, then you can kind of focus on the why things are set up the way they are in a cloud, and for things like shared support model and things like that. So as opposed to kind of the how. And so these white papers were great. The other thing that I did was I used the AWS Cloud Practitioner class that is on Ryan puts on at Cloud Guru. It's a very, you can see down here, it's only about a day or 2 worth of content. So it was very quick to go through. I will say some of the sections were a little bit dated. I think like they were from back 2018, 2019. And so when you go to do the labs, some of the screens were different from the AWS console as it appears today, because things change constantly with cloud. Right? That's the benefit of the agility model and the way things are kind of rolled out from a feature and functionality standpoint. So just be prepared for a little bit of that, but I found that useful because it helped me kind of reinforce where things were and learn and have to look for a little bit things. It pointed me in the right direction, definitely. And so I really like this class, like a lot of other people, as well as I've taken some of the other A Cloud Guru classes and like those. So definitely recommend this course. I know that some of the other learning platform sites like Udemy and Pluralsight and stuff have theirs too that people have had success with. So I didn't use those on this time. I pretty much just used these two things in my kind of foundational knowledge to like I said, I literally knocked this thing out in like 5 days. So if you're familiar with AWS at all and have started that journey, you should be able to knock this out pretty quick, being a foundational exam. So just to kind of recap, AWS, the A Cloud Guru, and then really read these white papers. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and good luck.